What would you do if you woke up on a deserted island and had nothing but your wits? Imagine waking up to find yourself on an island with no other person in sight. You have the clothes that are on your back, but nothing else. How would you survive with only what nature has to offer? In this video, we will show you how to survive a deserted island. We will go over some tips and tricks that will help you stay alive until rescue comes. After all, a deserted island has all the necessities for survival. You simply need to be looking in the right direction. An award-winning outdoor educator revealed one of the most effective survival tips, which I will share with you later in this video. Keep watching as this may just save your life one day. When Tim's plane went down, he thought his life was over. For a moment, he couldn't see anything but bright lights, and then everything went black. When he opened his eyes, he realized that he was stranded on what seemed to be an island. Only it wasn't just any island. It seemed like one of those mystical islands that legends are made of. He was so terrified he hoped he was dreaming. Worst of all, he was all alone. We all know that it's good to have some survival skills, but what would you do if you find yourself in a real-life situation where your knowledge is put to the test? You don't want to be caught off guard. Most people have an image in their head that they will be able to survive the elements. They believe that they could live off of coconuts, catch fish with their bare hands, or maybe even build shelter from scratch. However, when faced with this situation, most people simply give up hope and end up dying within days of being stranded. The truth is that nature can be incredibly unforgiving if you are not prepared for it. You need to know what steps to take before disaster strikes, so that there is a chance at survival for yourself and your loved ones. Survival situations can happen at any time and anywhere, whether it's an unexpected trip into the wilderness or a natural disaster. Knowing how to survive could mean the difference between life and death. There's no way around it. Surviving alone on a deserted island will be extremely hard unless you have prior knowledge of what it takes to do so successfully. If you want to survive before rescue, there are a few survival tricks you must be acquainted with. And learning how to defend yourself, this video will teach you everything you need to know about surviving on a deserted island. By following our step-by-step instructions for building shelter, finding food and water, starting a fire without matches, we will show you how easy it is. Before we get to that, please hit the like button. It will really help us grow the channel, and then we can help other like-minded people similar to us. Survivors, what would you do once you discover that you are stranded on a deserted island? I'll tell you what you need to do so you remain safe and survive for as long as possible. But first, let's look at what you shouldn't do, the mistakes. And then later on in the video, we will look at what to do immediately once you arrive on the island. Don't drink any seawater. No matter how thirsty, you must look for fresh water, not seawater. Why? The kidneys only make urine that is less salty than salt water. If you drink seawater, you have to urinate a lot of water. This makes it hard to get enough water, and eventually the person dies of dehydration. So, no drinking the seawater. Second mistake to avoid on a deserted island. If barefoot, only walk for short distances at a time. If you are not used to walking barefoot, it is best to only do so for short distances. You can walk more and more of the time as you get used to it. You don't want to sprain your ankle or get any foot injuries when you are in survival mode. Another big mistake is eating unfamiliar plants or animals without first testing them for toxins or poisons. You could die from something as simple as eating the wrong food. I'll cover this shortly, so you've learned not to drink seawater. Make sure you look after your feet and climatize them to their new environment, as having your feet in working condition is a key factor in surviving a deserted island. And you have learned not to eat unfamiliar plants or animals. Now, let's cover what to do immediately once you arrive on the island. Okay, you've woken up. You might be thinking, I can survive this. I have all that knowledge from that survival show on TV, and my dad is an expert in plants and animals. But wait, what if your dad isn't there? What if he's not as good at surviving as you thought? And what about those pesky bugs? What are you going to do now? First, look for others. If you are stranded on a deserted island from either an aeroplane or boat accident, one of the first steps is to look for other survivors that may need your help. You should try to save anyone you find and help them get to shore. You may have some weak swimmers in your group. Surviving on a deserted island is one of the most difficult feats of the modern era. And because it can be so arduous, having company will make your stay much more comfortable. You might be able to use other people's skills while on the island. They can help you survive better than you can on your own. No one around? Then what? Next, scavenge anything you can. To increase your odds of survival on the deserted island, gather up any resources close to you before heading ashore. You may find useful items floating on the surface of the water that will help you survive while you await rescue. After assessing the situation, look for anything you can use. For example, plastic sheets can be used to build water stills. Clothes can be washed and dried and then used later. It is important to drink water on the island. You can prepare for this by gathering bottles of water or other containers. Grab as much as you can, even if there are things you usually think of as junk. They might come in handy. Coming up is the top hack from our award-winning survival expert. But a quick basis tip first. Find drinkable water. The first thing you need to do is to find some water to drink. Without water, it is hard to stay healthy and survive. Dehydration can kill a person very quickly, sometimes in as little as 3 days. With this in mind, you must locate water for drinking quickly. Remember this when you are looking for water on the island. Streams or rivers usually have fresh water in them. You should note, however, that there is no salt in this water, so it may still contain parasites or diseases. You should therefore always boil the water that you plan on drinking. If there is no water available, you may want to build a water still. This will make it easier to get clean water for things like drinking and cooking. Rain or dew that has collected in leaves can be drunk. If you look for plants, then you might find water. Look ahead for a pool of water or dig down into the ground to find the source of water. If you find a vine and it is thick, cut it open. If the water inside looks milky or discolored, don't drink it. Next, create a shelter. Shelters are important. They keep you safe and out of the elements. Shelters give you a place to rest and recover while you think about what to do next. There are lots of shelters you can build, and that depends on the natural material found on the island. As an example, you might try to make a lean-to shelter. These are the steps. First, get a long and solid stick or branch. This should be longer than you are tall. Lean the log against a tree and find an angle that suits your height. The tops of the logs will mimic the shape of a house, so find an angle that appeals to you. Lay smaller branches or sticks as main support beams. At the same time, lean these over the main branch and then prop up one end with another stick angled 45 degrees. Cover these smaller sticks with branches and leaves to build the walls of your shelter. You could also put leaves or other plant matter on the floor to make a bed. Next, you need to know how to build a fire. After you get water and a shelter for protection, you will want to keep warm. Building a fire is easy and you don't need any tools. All you need is some natural material and a fire starting technique to start a fire. Various techniques can be used to start a fire on a deserted island. Here is one example. Check the description for other fire starting tutorials. First, find a bunch of large leaves or twigs and arrange them in the shape of a teepee. You need tinder to start a fire. Try using dry grass, pine resin, birch tree bark, or any other items that would easily catch on fire. Next, find a piece of soft wood. Find a branch or stick with a natural groove in it. You can also make one by chipping at the branch with a sharp stone or flint, which will give you the kind of groove you need. Then get a hardwood stick and gather your tinder together. Rub the hardwood stick up and down the groove quickly to create friction. Rubbing the stick in one direction could cause it to break or crackle, while rubbing in the other direction may increase your risk of a spark. Eventually, the tinder will catch on fire. Place it in your small kindling teepee to start the fire. You can make the fire taller by adding bigger pieces of wood to it. So you have water, shelter, and a fire. Finally, you need to create a rescue signal. If you are stranded on a deserted island and hope to be rescued, it's important to leave rescuers with a signal that will lead them in your direction. You can make a signal to help search parties find you. This is the key to getting you home safe and sound. A good idea is to make a lot of smoke that will let people know where you are. You can use damp or wet wood to make the smoke by burning them. Or you can arrange 3 fires in a triangle pattern, which is internationally recognized as a distress signal. You can make large rocks on the beach into messages. Try to spell SOS or help. You can make a message in the sand by writing it with your hands. You can also use big sticks to spell out the letters. While you will most likely be very busy trying to survive on the island, it's also important that you take a break and relax. Taking time out can help make sure that your body is refreshed for whatever comes next. Finding things to do in your free times can also keep your outlook positive, which will give survival a little more comfort than what would happen otherwise. While surviving may be tough while living on an island, taking some breaks now and then isn't only good for someone's health, but their attitude as well. One way of making this easier is by finding small tasks or hobbies during downtime so they're not just focused solely on work all day long. Now, the next thing you really need to know is how to survive an encounter with a crocodile or an alligator whilst on the island. The video is on the screen now, so click it now and watch it. I've also linked to this video in the description. If you'd like to know more about other survival techniques, then click on the link in the playlist on the screen. It will give you all the practical tips you need to know about so you can do everything possible to survive and remain safe. Please like this video, share, and subscribe to help others as you know exactly what they need to do if they are stranded on a deserted island. And tell us your survival ideas in the comments below.